96.7 KCAL rocks. It is Patrick in the morning. Time to talk some sports with our guy Pep on a rainy Thursday. What's up, Pep?
Yo, Patrick, good morning. Listen, the Luka Doncic era is off and running for the Lake Show. Kind of mixed results right now. 1-1. They've played the Jazz twice. They won one, they lost one, including last night. They lost 131-119 in Utah. And Luka only had 16 points in that game. Now, if you've watched the game or you saw the highlights, Luka's making some incredible passes. He's always been a great passer. He can distribute the basketball. But the scoring hasn't been there, and I think it's going to take some time because, LeBron is the alpha dog, and Luka is, he used to be the superstar, and he's still trying to be a superstar, but it's going to take some time for those two to kind of coexist, right, and find their shots and who's going to be the primary scorer and all that. So it hasn't been great so far, but I think that takes time.
I think so. They're going to need a little time together. I do feel like once they get a little in the groove or whatever, they could catch fire here. I have that feeling for some reason.
Yeah, they could. And again, that's a small sample size. The Utah Jazz are not very good. So that first game for Luka, obviously they hammered Utah. And then they go on the road and play Utah, and then they lose. It's like, well, okay, the real Lakers are probably somewhere in between. They're not going to score 70 points by halftime every single game like they did in that first game against Utah. And at the same token, they're not probably going to get beat by Utah on most nights either. So I think it's going to take some time to pan out. But man, Luka had some crazy passes. I forget he's a big time scorer, but I forget how well he sees the court.
Right. You can see some flashes here. That's why I think once they kind of gel together a little bit and really start trusting each other, they could be, because LeBron, when he's about to take that last shot, he'll kick it to somebody.
Yeah.
And I think both of us feel now he's really got somebody to kick it to.
Yeah, I think Luke is one of those guys where he's, he wants the ball in his hands. He wants to take that last shot. He was that guy in Dallas. So, he was that guy, even with Kyrie Irving there. It was Luka's team. He was the bona fide superstar. So, again, him and LeBron coexisting, both finding their shots, both getting their points. I think it'll happen, but it was kind of a little rocky road the first two games.
Right. I think they will eventually be able to work off of each other. It's kind of like having two great wide receivers.
Yes.
You got to cover one of them, and that's going to leave the other one open.
You would think, right? Like something's going to happen. You can't put all your attention on just one guy.
No.
So LeBron might have a big night, and then Luka have a big night, back and forth. So you pick your poison with the Lakers. But we'll see how this pans out. There's still a lot of regular season to get through before we get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
All right, this weekend, the old Great American Race, man. It's a great time of the year. You get the Super Bowl, and then you get the Super Bowl in NASCAR with the Daytona 500 coming up on Sunday. We know the front row is already set. Chase Briscoe took the pole last night. Now we've got the qualifying dual races coming up today. But what's interesting about this Daytona 500 field, during qualifying at least, is we've got some big names trying to qualify for one of those 40 spots, including Jimmy Johnson. He used to, drive the 48. He's a legend. Well, now he's driving the 84. Reverse those numbers, the 48 to the 84. He's trying to qualify. Martin Truex is out there as well. He's trying to qualify for the race. And how about this? Indy 500 champion, Helio Castroneves, the IndyCar star. He's trying to qualify, making his NASCAR Cup debut. Most people, I say most people, but a lot of people know him from Dancing with the Stars. He was on that reality show, but he's trying to qualify. So if you're looking for a reason to watch, yes, there's a lot of great young drivers in NASCAR right now, but some of the old guys are stepping up trying to qualify.
Right. That makes it even more exciting. I kind of really like the duel, dude. The duel kind of gets you fired up for the big race coming. And I think this kind of reminds me a little bit of, Tiger Woods. For a while, those really good drivers just had the bar set really high.
Yes.
Well, now these young kids are really effing good because of that. And look at all these big names just trying to get in there. These are top drivers, dude.
Yeah, man. The field is stacked. It is tough. There's some real good young rising stars in NASCAR. And I still like to see the old guys try to roll it out, one more time and see Jimmy Johnson and Martin Truex Jr. out there. So we'll see. I think that's a reason to watch the duels, to see who's going to qualify, and Helio Castroneves as well. So who's going to make it to that 40-car field coming up on Sunday. So the Great American Race coming up on Sunday, the duels today. So a lot of racing the next couple of days. And I'm assuming the weather's better in Daytona than it is out here.
Correct. And it should be good this year. I know, quick sidebar, my brother went to the Daytona 500, his first NASCAR race last year.
Oh.
And even though the rain delayed it, he said it was the most amazing experience he's ever had.
bucket list for sure, right?
Loved it.
There's some sports bucket list items out there, and the Daytona 500 is certainly one of those. So excited to see the NASCAR season starting up this weekend. Let's talk some baseball. Pitchers and catchers reporting to spring training this week, including the Dodgers, and that should include the legendary Clayton Kershaw entering his 18th season. Assuming he passes his physical, he will be back with the Dodgers for another year, Patrick.
And one of my favorite parts of this whole thing is, yes, we get to see all these arms getting going, but maybe the statement of spring training so far was Blake Snell was like, dude, me being able to pitch in front of Clayton Kershaw, he's like, it's the most amazing experience of my life. I thought that was really cool of him to say that because it meant a lot to him. I thought that was badass.
That is. I mean, playing alongside one of the greatest of all time, maybe the greatest Dodgers pitcher of all time. Like he's way up there. And going into his 18th season, which is crazy, 18 seasons. I'm like, am I that old? Did he get old that fast? Like it was crazy. But when you look at Clayton Kershaw's career, he's already a Hall of Famer. He has nothing else to prove. He has a World Series or actually 2 World Series championships.
Yep.
But how does he fit in with the Dodgers? Because they're stacked with starting pitchers. Like, wouldn't it be crazy to see if he was their closer this year or something wild like that?
It's so cool. I'm so glad he's there because you can see how all the pitchers appreciate any insight from him at all. And he almost kind of gives me the Kobe feeling. I'm really glad in the sense that he didn't go to another team.
Yeah.
He really is a lifer. And I mean, I could see him eventually becoming the pitching coach for the Dodgers in the future.
Yeah. One of those guys who stayed with the same team, which is very rare these days, right?
Yeah.
Free agency is killed all sports. Like there's no loyalty. Everyone chases the money, and I get it. I probably would too. But he is a lifelong Dodger. He's going to be with the Dodgers till the end of his career, which maybe this might be it. Maybe at some point he'll announce like, "This is it, guys. This is my farewell tour." So 18 seasons for Clayton Kershaw. He is coming back. And the other big news too was the Dodgers were previewing their opening series for the regular season. It's going to be in Tokyo, the Tokyo series against the Cubs on March 18th and 19th. And Yoshinobu Yamamoto will be the season opener for the Dodgers over in Tokyo. So, and we should see Roki Sasaki as well in that series. And again, it's March 18th and 19th, which is early, but those will be regular season games.
I know it's always strange when you have those regular seasons before, you have those games before spring training starts. But I love the move of putting the top Japanese pitcher in there for those games. I think it's classy.
Oh my gosh. And the Chicago Cubs have a frontline starting pitcher from Japan as well. You mix in Shohei Ohtani, like it's going to draw huge numbers out there in Japan. And Japan has long had a lot of great players, come to Major League Baseball and do very, very well. Our wheelhouse would be Ichiro, Hideki Matsui, like I could go Hideo Nomo, like you could go on and on. So there's been a good pipeline of Japanese players to Major League. So it's pretty cool that Major League goes over there, especially with the Dodgers because they got so many great Japanese players and open their season over there against the Cubs. So that's March 18th and 19th, which I feel like is right around the corner now. It's gonna be baseball season.
It really is.
It's crazy. And finally, some NFL news. We've been talking about the Raiders and Pete Carroll taking over the team there as the head coach. Well, I ran into our guy, Alexander Mattison, running back for the Raiders. And he was telling me, I didn't realize this, when he signed with the Raiders last year after that 5-year run with the Vikings, he's a free agent. And he's like, I love Pete Carroll. He's a proven winner. I want to play for Pete Carroll. He's like, but I'm going to hit free agency next month, and I don't know where I'm going to end up. But he wants to go back to the Raiders. That's his ideal situation. But your guy, Pete Carroll, Patrick, he's got to make a decision. I mean, I think Alex is almost 27, so it's not like he's old. But running backs, they have a small window to make their money and have some good seasons.
Well, let's hope that they can fit because he is a hard runner, and Pete loves that. And I mean, and Pete isn't necessarily just a one-back guy, so he'll go by platoon. And to have him as one of the platoon guys, I hope it works out, man. That could be very cool. You were hearing Max Crosby could be moving as well, too, man. I'm kind of hoping that they stay, but there's some wheeler dealer in Pete as well, man. We'll have to see what happens, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the new NFL season, as they call it, the free agency period, will begin in about a month. So a lot can still happen. I'm sure Pete Carroll is still getting his feet wet, but you're right. If running back by committee. If you've got Alexander Mattison, who, gosh, I can't believe I'm saying this, but he's a veteran now. He's an NFL veteran. You mix him in maybe with a running back who's in his first or second season, or maybe two running backs that are, on the younger side. Maybe you mix those in, and that's, you got your veteran and you're grooming some guys for the future. So we'll see what happens. Alex is going to play in the NFL, but yeah, he would like to stay with the Raiders. And Pete Carroll.
Just Pete will give him a chance to compete, right? That's what he does. I love it, man. I can actually see it working out. Do I want it to work out? Of course I do. But we will keep a close eye on it. That's why we have our guy, Pep. Pep, tell me how to get your stuff.
You can get my stuff anytime at Inland Sports. That's Inland Sports on X, Instagram, and Facebook. We got Inland Sports on YouTube as well.